interest in the entertainment business to be enthralled by it. I didn't know David McClintick, the author, but I was in awe of his reporting and writing and a little envious. How had he gotten so many people to talk and to bare their souls? How had he penetrated the boardrooms and offices, the real centers of power in the entertainment industry? And how had he woven all that information into such a compelling narrative? But I also felt bad for him. I figured he was losing royalties because so many people like us were reading the bootlegged copies. It turned out I needn't have worried. The New York Times ran a story about how the manuscript had set off a frenzy in Hollywood, and all the buzz just fueled broader interest. The minute the book came out, I ran to the bookstore and bought several copies, as did many others who had already read it. It leaped right onto bestseller lists and stayed there. It's hard to overstate the impact Indecent Exposure had on nonfiction writers of my generation. We all admired it and talked about it. Writers like Joan Didion and V.S. Naipaul and magazines like The New Yorker had shown that nonfiction could have the power of great literature, but Indecent Exposure showed that these kinds of stories were lying dormant in the world of business, waiting to be discovered. We looked at the Wall Street Journal, where David was a reporter, with fresh admiration, and found much to inspire us, especially in the front-page feature stories that were David's specialty. I, for one, knew I wanted to follow in his footsteps. Eventually I did. David had left at that point, but Norman Pearlstein, the paper's managing editor who hired me, stressed that Indecent Exposure was the kind of riveting journalism that he wanted more of. With his encouragement, a new generation of journal reporters began reporting and writing stories with narrative sweep and impact. Some of them also turned into best-selling books. When Norm and the Journal hosted a publication party for my book, Den of Thieves, David showed up. I was honored and delighted to meet him. Today the legacy of Indecent Exposure lives on, not just at the Journal, but everywhere great reporting and writing are prized. Part 1. 1. Evelyn Crystal, a slim woman of 41 with short blonde hair, eased her brown Pinto from Van Nuys Boulevard into the rush-hour crawl of the Ventura Freeway and headed east. She squinted into the sun, which had just cleared the snow-covered San Gabriel Mountains on the far horizon, straight ahead. It was 8 a.m., Friday, February 25th, 1977, clear and bracing, one of the chilliest mornings of the brief subtropical Los Angeles winter. Evelyn's drive would take 35 minutes if she was lucky, 45 minutes if she was not. Like thousands of logs glutting a river, the traffic crept past Bullocks and I Magnin, Coldwater Canyon Avenue and Laurel Canyon Boulevard, 20 miles an hour, then 50, then 10. Evelyn negotiated a careful merge with the southeast-bound Hollywood Freeway. Universal Studios on the left. Coenga Pass through the scrubby hills, green from the winter rains. Hollywood Bowl on the right. Off the freeway at Vine. South on Vine, down the hill, stop and go through Central Hollywood. The Capitol Records Tower. TAV Celebrity Theater presents the Merv Griffin Show. Art City. Vine becomes Rossmore at Melrose. Along Rossmore, gently curving past the Wilshire Country Club and the grand old homes of Hancock Park, all the way to Wilshire Boulevard. A long light, then across Wilshire to the stone gates of Fremont Place, an elegant and very private residential enclave. Another wait while the guard located Evelyn's name on the list. Over the speed bump, around the corner to the right and into the driveway of the first house, 97 Fremont Place West, where Evelyn's employer, Cliff Robertson, the motion picture actor, was in temporary residence. Evelyn might have preferred a commute as short as those during Cliff's previous extended visits to Los Angeles. He had rented houses in Coldwater Canyon and Brentwood, which were much closer to her home in the working-class San Fernando Valley community of Van Nuys. But in 19 years as Cliff Robertson's part-time secretary, Evelyn Crystal had grown used to, and actually quite fond of, just about all of Cliff's eccentricities, mainly because they weren't really eccentricities at all, but quite normal traits that seemed eccentric only in Hollywood. One of them was a strong preference for living near where he was working. Most movie celebrities, no matter how remote the location of the studio that might be employing them at a particular time, insisted on living in Beverly Hills or Bel Air. Any other place would have threatened their self-image. Cliff Robertson, however, wasn't so insecure as most in Hollywood.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.